What's going on, everybody? It's me, and I'm back to talk to you about Back to the Future. That's right. It is the 40th anniversary. Damn, 40 years. Before I go any further, please, I'm going to need you to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video, and go ahead and donate to that Patreon. That link is in the description below. Back to the Future franchise, period, is like one of my all-time favorites. Like, these movies, and it's literally hard to pick which ones I like more as I like rewatch them. Like, as a youngster, I always like the ending movies more so because like there's a conclusion, there's a finality to them. Except, with certain movies, right? Certain movies, it's just like, yeah, no, I like these more. Like with Ninja Turtles, I used to always watch the second one, third ones a lot, but that first one's my favorite. I like that one the most. Back to the Future, I always watch the third movie because the conclusion. A lot of people didn't really like it. I don't know why I like it. Maybe because I like Westerns. When it comes to Star Wars, the original trilogy, it'd be Return of the Jedi, right? Although arguably people consider the Empire Strikes Back to be the best one, right? So out of these, easily, if I just smush all of them together, easily Back to the Future in my top 10, top 5 favorite movies of all time. It's interesting being a millennial because now, last year, Beetlejuice sequel, which that movie's as old as I am. We still have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like Beetlejuice, right? Predator has a new movie coming out Friday. Probably won't cover that because I didn't cover any of the newer stuff, but Addams Family's still going strong technically. Like, they had animated movies, and then what you have I'm trying to think of some of the other older stuff. Ghostbusters is still going on. So those 80s and 90s properties, just timeless, especially with the structure of how movies were done. Like, man, and you know what's insane, because this, like, the celebration to watch this technically started last week, and by the time you watch this video, it'll be November 5th. And in the movie, November 5th, 1955, is when Doc Brown thought up the flux capacitor for time travel. Pretty interesting coincidence. I want to tell you, I love this movie. It's still on Netflix for a little bit, but all 3 movies. But see, this is why, man, this is why you got to get physical media. Screw all that streaming stuff. Get physical media. Now, what's insane about this, you probably can't tell if you can read backwards, but that says 25th anniversary. So 15 years later, we are at 40 years. Man, Robert Zemeckis, fantastic director. I mean, this is the dude that did Roger Rabbit. Actually, pretty sure I pulled Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is a cinematic. It was ahead of its time. He used to always do like special effects that were ahead of their time in his movies, but this dude, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump, Castaway. I haven't seen Polar Express, but I heard a lot of people like it. So Polar Express, they got Beowulf. You have the Christmas Carol, the Disney one with Jim Carrey. Death Becomes Her. Dude has a wonderful track record, and this is just, he's still doing stuff today. By the way, Chicago native, Chi-Town stand up. We have the most amazing people. Just seeing this movie today made me appreciate it more. And it's funny, I think, so 25, so 15 years. I'm pretty sure I've seen all 3 of these a couple times after that. So probably kind of mellowed out like around 2018, 2019, right? And watching it today makes me realize some of the stuff I've missed. Makes me appreciate more of the nuance of this film. All-star cast, especially when you think about everything everybody's done. Michael J. Fox, one of my favorite actors of all time. Loved him in everything he's been in. I'm Teen Wolf, Alex P. Keaton. He had his own. The last show he had was the Michael J. Fox show, where he played like this famous television news guy. was it news? Not news radio. Spin City, I believe it was Spin City for him before they had Charlie Sheen come in. Just some. Actually, I feel like I've forgotten some stuff. The Frighteners. Family Ties was the name of the show. I almost call it All in the Family. Stuart Little. He's in so much good stuff. And Back to the Future is right up there with things like your E.T.s, your Goonies, your Karate Kids, Terminator, Indiana Jones. All just right up there with all that good stuff. And it's funny because Back to the Future had a cartoon in the 90s. Cartoon with Beetlejuice, Addams Family. Predator and Terminator didn't have cartoons. RoboCop had a cartoon, though. So what I also like is that Robert Zemeckis will never do a remake of this movie, of this franchise. As long as he's alive, he will never do one because you don't need one because it's perfect. Everything does not need a remake or a continuation for that matter. Just putting it out there. I highly suggest if you haven't seen these films, watch them. Legit sit down and watch them. There's so many good layers. So what's the plot? Well, the plot, we get to learn or meet Marty McFly and see his life. You know, he wants to play guitar and sing like the song, you know, Back in Time, but he has a lot of not, well, I'll say nervousness. He's inherited fear from his father, where it's like, well, what if people don't like it? I can't handle rejection right now. He says that, and his father says that in 1955 because his dad was writing sci-fi stories, and he's like, oh man, I don't show anybody because what if they don't like it? You know, what if they tell me I'm not any good? You know, you probably don't understand. He's like, no, I get it. He's inherited that from his pops. And it's funny because he kind of breaks free of that a little bit, you know, with the one of the ending scenes where he's playing Johnny Be Good with Marvin Berry and the Starlighters. So it's good to see that he would do that. But it's also interesting because I feel like after watching this literally a few hours ago, that the movie feels less about Marty and more about like his parents, like them getting a second chance. Because again, I can't believe I've forgotten some of this stuff. Like when you meet, like his dad is like this, you know, he's nerdy, but this very meek, nerdy guy bows down to Biff, who's a piece of shit. Just Biff is literally a bigoted racist. He's about the R word Lorraine in this movie. So, you know, sexual abuser, like just a literal, not even a school bully, like neighborhood bully piece of shit. His mom is alcoholic, and man, alcohol does a lot to you. If you keep drinking, keep smoking, it does a lot to you. Do some things in moderation. Don't smoke though. Do some things in moderation, and just, yeah. But the plot, he ends up going back in time because he's friends with Doc Brown, who everyone sees is kooky and crazy. And something I didn't notice, I didn't notice that because the Brown estate burned down and he had to sell all of it to make the DeLorean into the time machine. He lives in the garage that was left over. I never paid attention to that. That's crazy. And it lives next door to a Burger King, which I gotta interject some of the nostalgia. Now, yeah, I wasn't born in 85, but a lot of stuff carried over from the 80s into the 90s. And like, I always consider, like, when you go into new decades, at least for the beginning 2 or 3 years, they still feel a little bit like the old decade until it becomes its own thing, which is incredible. Because while the 90s did become its own thing, those early years was very, like, you know, I do remember how the Burger Kings used to look. Toys R Us didn't ever change. And that's what's really interesting. I like seeing some of those things drop in there. Goes back in time, is able to convince Doc to help him, and he goes on this journey of, because he messed up. You're not supposed to interact with the past. He breaks the event that made his parents meet, and now he has to make sure his parents get together, or else him and his siblings are going to disappear. Now, one thing that did kind of confuse me a little bit, because Marty's the youngest. I forget his brothers, his siblings, Dave and Linda. Dave is oldest. Linda is the middle girl, right? I never understood why the disappearance goes from oldest to youngest. Like, wouldn't he disappear first? I mean, it built tension in the movie. So, and this movie is so fantastic, that kind of thing, I can just let that go. But it did make me go, how come it didn't go the opposite direction? But it does build tension wonderfully. And that is basically the whole plot. Make sure my parents get together. Make sure I can get back to the past. Sorry, back to the future. That plot is nice and simple, not overly complicated. The music in this is fantastic. Alan Silvestri, who still makes music today. As a matter of fact, he made the song Portals from Avengers Endgame, one of the greatest film scores of all time. Music is great. I'm pretty sure that was him that made the Back to the Future theme. And it's just Huey Lewis and the News going in here. A little fun fact about that song, Power of Love. They asked him to do music for it. He didn't really know what the movie was about, so he did Power of Love first, and then he did Back in Time. And both of those songs are heavily featured in here. Like, Power of Love was the song that Marty's group, the Pinheads, play. And Huey Lewis was one of the judges for the whole Battle of the Bands thing, sitting there like, son, you're just too loud. Which is irony, because that's why Huey Lewis had to retire from singing, because hearing problems. Same thing with Angus. What is Angus' last name? Angus from AC/DC. So it's kind of coincidental. Pace of the movie's great. Like, it doesn't feel like anything's rushed. Things get time to breathe. You get setups. While the movie takes place over a week in 1955, I like the fact that we do get day and night cycles, but we don't have to be told Monday, Wednesday, Friday. No, I like it, because the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, I think that was a Saturday dance. Yeah. And full week. I like it. I like it a lot. What else am I missing? No, yeah, the tension's great. Like, I remember just sitting in the theater, and I love it when I get to watch movies in theaters that didn't get a chance to. Sitting in the theater, like, feeling the tension right before George getting ready to fight Biff, or the tension of, man, Marty has to make sure he plays so his parents can kiss, and the tension of, man, we got to hurry up and get this DeLorean's not starting up. Oh man, the plugs are unplugging. Tension builds up nicely, and you're like, just kind of like, even though you know what's gonna happen, you still feel it in this movie. And actually, the funny parts still make me laugh. It's movies are good if you've seen them a bunch of times, and even if you take a long break from them, you see them a bunch of times, so you kind of know what jokes are there, and the jokes still make you laugh. And I mentioned before how this is less about Marty, more about his dad. It's great. And like, Lorraine fell in love with George because her dad hit him with the car. And so Doc says she got the Florence Nightingale syndrome. Nurses fall in love with taking care of a patient, right? And she fell in love with the guy that needed her, which you still see that today. But somewhere along in the movie, because Marty keeps challenging Biff, no matter how big he is, defending Lorraine the first time, she goes, yeah, George is nice, but don't you think, I think a man should be able to stand up and protect his lady. And it's like, dang, she has a point there. She definitely has a point there, which is why they do that setup. And I like in the setup where she's crying, because Biff is literally trying to assault her. He's trying to assault her. And George is looking at her, and he's like, because initially the plays was like, get your damn hands off. He's like, oh wow, she's actually in trouble. And he's like, get out of here, McFly. He's like, no, I'm not gonna leave. Stop what you're doing. Now, he's initially getting, he about to get his arm broke. When he sees dude push Lorraine, he just goes draw back like Marge Simpson and hit his ass with that shoryuken. And that's where that dynamics changes. Stand up to bullies, legitimately. Stand up to bullies. Now, well, I should say, we do not condone violence, although some people do need their asses kicked, just straight up. Assholes and bullies sometimes need their asses kicked, but we do not endorse violence. That ass whooping, that's the Naruto ass whooping before Naruto, where you change a whole person's personality, because it's like, yeah, I'm pretty tired of you being a jackass. Sure you can. And this is more or less Marty learning about his parents. Learning he didn't know his dad was artsy and had all these ideas. So doing this led his father to having more confidence, being in charge of Biff instead of Biff being in charge of him. Because I forgot that whole scene where Biff crashes the car and blames him. You didn't tell me about that blind spot. I'm like, what an asshole. Every car has a blind spot. And now it's like Biff is shining your car, right? Biff is buffing and waxing y'all's cars, and Marty's new Ford. Is that a Ford truck or is that a Toyota? No, it's a flatbed. It's very nice truck. But yeah. And Lorraine, and it's interesting because Doc was like, what kind of interest your parents have? He's like, damn, nothing. They didn't do anything, because she was only in love with taking care of this weak, meek baby bird kind of guy. But because he stood up for her and defend her, and especially that's the scene right before Marty's gonna disappear, and you get this redheaded guy who looks more nerdy than George. And he's like, yeah, the way McFly, I'm gonna dance with it. And he's like, get your ass out of here, this is my girl. I think that's what solidified it for Lorraine. Like, this guy will fight for me. This guy shows that he cares about me. Outside of her kissing Marty and going, it's like kissing my brother, which, whew, good job, Marty, because she was, man. But it changes that love dynamic. Like, now it's one of respect and adoration as of one of, like, pity. Because even in the regular timeline, like, she still had the lovey-dovey eyes for the dude who his laugh his laugh was funny and dumb, but she still had that love. But now she has respect and adoration for him, which is great. Very great. That principal sucked. Zemeckis, like, okay, he's talking shit to Marty. I'm like, you ain't gonna never be nothing. You're a slacker. You're a slacker. And he says that his dad was like a Georgia slacker. How is he a slacker? Because someone put "kick me" on his back. You are actively a principal allowing bullying. Now, I did like that he cracked down on everybody. It was fair assholedness, but you're still an asshole. This kid's being bullied. He's not slacking off, you jackass. Bald jackass. He's a jackass in Back to the Future too. Sheesh. Jennifer, Marty's girlfriend. First of all, I don't have favorite scenes, because like when I did talk about Ninja Turtles, I talked about my favorite scenes, like those fight scenes and like the turtles, reconnecting out there and on the farm and stuff like that. But here it's like moments and scenes are technically the same thing, but I don't know. It's hard to describe, because I really liked at the end of this movie when Marty shows back up and sees Jennifer. He's like, man, I actually really care about this girl. Mind you, he's 17, 18. It's a movie. But obviously she loves him because she wrote "I love you" and gave him the thing with the number for Granny. Lorraine is not Lorraine. Jen, man, that's a ride or die. Cause when Marty's looking at the aerobic girl's ass, she still turns his head. She don't get an attitude. She don't get mad. She like, yeah, no, he's a guy, and I think those are older women anyway. He's a guy, hey, you mine. You don't see a lot of that even in modern times. That's something that caught my eye. That opening, I gotta say, like Michael J. Fox was like the superstar of the era that he was in, from those 80s all the way up into the late 90s and a little bit early 2000s, because he was Stuart Little too. But he just, the opening shot, right, where all we see the Doc's inventions. We just see his feet and we hear his voice and we see his skateboard. Also, I never really noticed that the plutonium was actually in there. I did not pay attention to that. Also, it's funny they said the Libyans. I don't know if any other movie would have the balls to name a group and say, yeah, the terrorists from this place did it. Interesting. Anyway, just the shot leading up, and then even when we see his body, we see him from the back when he get ready to strum the thing, and the first time you see him, he has all those cool glasses. He is Marty McFly / Michael J. Fox, MJF, huh? Michael J. Fox is the quintessential cool guy. Now, what really makes this trilogy amazing, and I really hope they do re-release Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3, because I want to sit down and watch them. What really makes them quintessential is that we finally get an arc for Marty, outside of him understanding his parents more, and him realizing, just go for it, right? Which is the theme of the movie. Just literally go for it. Have faith in yourself. Believe in yourself. Like George says in the beginning, in the end, and what Marty tells him in the middle, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Literally just believe in yourself and go forward. Marty doesn't get an arc until the second movie, where it's his whole prideful thing, like, don't call me chicken. And that gets resolved in the third movie, where he finally goes, I can't keep doing this. I gotta, you have to grow out of it. It doesn't matter what people think of you, which also ties into the first movie of, like, what if they don't think I'm any good? Be yourself, have confidence, screw everybody else. Pop culture references, gotta love it. I think the 80s might have started that. So talked about Darth Vader from Planet Vulcan. Even did I can't do the hand sign, I'm sorry, from Planet Vulcan. His name's, they would call him Calvin Klein because Lorraine took his pants off and saw his underwear. That girl, that woman tried to pretend like she didn't do anything bad, which is probably most parents. And you took this boy's pants off. You were squeezing his thigh at your dinner table. You chased after him after you said, I don't like girls that chase. I do appreciate that, because she had a true blue love at the end of this movie with George. She liked Jennifer more. Again, it's something I did not pay attention to. Did not pay attention to anything. Man, was she? She was. Think what the term they use for girls? Fast. Boy, she was. Again, she was a teenager. Drinking. He stopped her. He, like, even though he took a drink, changed all that. Changed all the smoking. Man, you just sound like my mom, which is also funny. So is there anything else in here? Because I don't want to forget. Let's talk about. Don't even know. Did, like, the whole colored line, the spook thing. This movie did not run away from, like, yeah, the 50s were not a good time for black people. So, yeah, of course he's going to laugh at there being a black man. Of course, they're going to call him these things. Biff's boy's going to call the Starlighters these things. Two of the most famous quotes of all time. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. Everybody has said that at least once or twice in their life if you've ever seen this movie. And roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. That's two of the most iconic lines of all time. I did get some nostalgia for seeing that old Universal logo. I don't think I see it very often. Maybe I just don't watch enough Universal stuff. Then there's Amblin, which has the ET logo on it. I'm just remembering some of the stuff that was from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s for a while until things start to shift. Viacom, Technicolor. Man, no one talks about Technicolor anymore. It's all about that 4K, that 1080p, that 720, being able to see the sweat of the pores of the. I don't need all that personally. I just need a good screen. Doc, and obviously didn't talk about how he changed Doc Brown. Confirming to him in 1955 that he makes something that works, because he was trying to do the mind reading thing that didn't work. He wasted his whole family's fortune trying to make something that works, and he finally does. Although it's a shame that towards the end of the second movie and the end of the trilogy, he's like, I can't share this with anybody because people make too many mistakes. Biff showed that it could be used for evil. I cannot share it. And I like that we get a scientist that goes, well, I wanted to do something great, and then realizes, oh man, this could be very, very bad. But yeah, also Doc being saved at the end. I'm glad he read the letter. This is two times a man that goes, I should know about my past, then learns about his past, because he was going to die in the third movie. So that's the second time this happened. But helping him out, and just, I like the chemistry between Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. Man, it would have been nice if they were able to do more movies together, because that's a cool ass friendship. I wonder if there's a novel or something. I know there was a Telltale game before Telltale Games became Telltale Games about Back to the Future, and it took place after the movies. I think it took place after the movies. No, it probably took place before. I don't know when it took place, but I would actually like to learn how Marty met Doc and how they became close, because what a lot of movies try to do nowadays is we're going to establish how they become friends, and then we're definitely going to get a sequel. We're going to sequel bait you. No, just this movie here is just like, no, it's obvious that they've known each other for a long time. Marty cares about Doc. Doc cares about Marty. I like that. And for a movie that was made on, I want to say 19, was this movie made with 19 mil? Yeah, a movie that was made with 19 mil and got a box office of $388 million. The ending to this first movie could just be the ending, and you can just assume that more stuff's going to happen. But I'm glad Robert Zemeckis was able to give us this trilogy with this full character change for Marty. And also seeing a time traveling train was really cool. Just the ending, you could just go, man. So they go into the future. They go 30 years into the future, which I think was 2015. Man, please re-release Back to the Future 2, because I want to talk shit about how the Cubs didn't win when they should have won in Back to the Future 2 and won the next year. And after that, and for some reason, feels like everything's been screwed up since they won. But I digress. Great movie, hour and 55 minutes. So round this up, 2-hour movie. It is a classic. I refuse to go 1 out of 5, 5 out of 5. No. This is a classic. You must watch this. If you have not seen this, watch it. If you've not seen this and the sequels, watch it. I wish I could find the cartoon, because the cartoon, it was actually our introduction to Bill Nye the Science Guy. At the end of the episodes, I think before or after the credits, or sometimes both, they would do a science experiment with Christopher Lloyd, talking over like Doc Brown. And so you would get Bill Nye, before Bill Nye was known as Bill Nye, doing science things. And this was, of course, on CBS, because Viacom, Universal, CBS, yes, they did these things, and they put the show on CBS. Greg Scott. That's also another one. Greg Scott. 1.21 gigawatts. That's another one right there. Yeah. Oh, I love this movie so much. I realize that now I've talked 3 minutes longer in this review than I did in the Ninja Turtle one. I don't think there's anything else I want to talk about. Just trying to look. Crash the car. The poop. Biff crashing. Oh, nope. Can I have that playing? Biff crashing into stuff and poop falling on him. Love that keeps that place doing all of it. Skateboard and stuff. Place doing all of them. Love it. I saw JCPenney too. Does JCPenney still exist? I think it does. Yeah, it does. It does. Just not a lot of people go there. Trying to make sure there's anything else I want to talk about. Marvin Berry, Chuck Berry, Blackberry, Legacy 5. Nope. We do see in 1955 when he drives off, it's the Atomic Kid, and he comes back and it's like Church Assembly, which shows like that theater has just been completely converted. But I do find it funny, Atomic Kid. I need to find that movie. I've been liking watching. Have taken an enjoyment of watching old movies. I was watching like the original Frankenstein monster movie during this past Halloween season. So gotta find the Atomic Kid. Also, I watched Mystery Science Theater 3000. Most of the movies there are in black and white and old. So yeah, guys, please watch this if you haven't seen it. Happy 40 years Back to the Future. I'm looking forward to part 2. Please let part 2 come out. So guys, do not forget, I need you to hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know more of when these review type things come out. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts about Back to the Future. If you have any, did you see this when it originally came out in theaters? If you've watched these movies, which one is your favorite? Or do you like all of them equally like I do? Because it's very hard to pick. Also, that Patreon link's in the description below. Please give it a click. All right. I'll see you guys later. I'm actually, now that I think about it, I'm actually quickly approaching doing 800 videos. I think this might be this will be my, hold on. 798th video is this one. 2 more, we hit 800. I guess that the 800th one is probably going to be a Digimon video. So, man, and we're almost at 500. So, I appreciate you guys taking time to listen to me gush over this movie, this franchise. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson. Actually, we're just going to tell you everybody. Thomas Wilson, Crispin Glover. Oh, yeah, Thomas Wilson showed up in... not Scrubs, Psych, kind of playing the same type of character, but actually nice, like has a rivalry with the guy, but is actually nice. Man, these actors are great. Anyway, thank you guys. Be good, be blessed, drink some water, wash some hands, be good to yourselves, be good to others. Either way it goes, please don't be a jerk. It's way too many jerks out there. All right. And if you're feeling down and out, because it is rough, out there. The season gets rougher and rougher as we get deeper into the holidays, and the things that are going on in the world will drive you crazy. So please talk to somebody, reach out to someone. I'm pretty sure there are people out there that would rather talk to you today than to miss you and mourn you tomorrow. Okay. You want to talk to me? My social media is in the description below. Give me a follow. Say hello. Be mellow. We be good to go. All right. I'm gonna catch you guys next time.